Nerds and nerdettes, welcome back to the channel and happy Friday. Today we have the video you guys love to watch and I love to film, which is of course the monthly haul video, which this one is a little bit special because technically it is the last haul of 2022, even though this is being shot in 2023. All of these books were received in the month of December in 2022. So we have a little bit of a New Year's haul celebration video for you guys. Before we get into the haul, I want to let you guys know that I will be starting with manga, then transitioning to indie, and then transitioning into the big two, Marvel/DC. It's kind of the way I go about all of my hauls, but I definitely want to remind you guys, so you kind of know at what point you kind of want to pay closer attention to, depending on what exactly you are reading. But with that being said, we can go ahead and jump to manga. And first up for manga, we have Volume 8 of Full Metal Alchemist and the Full Metal editions. Beautiful books, guys. I've said multiple times in a lot of my other hauls, I am mainly collecting this in the wild, just because anytime I order it, this specific kind of spine area always comes damaged, top and bottom. This one has a little bit, but I understand I'm not going to have a perfect book all the time. But it always comes ripped, torn, folded, whatever it may be. So I do try to get this mainly in the wild just so I can inspect the book before I purchase it. But a little bit off topic there. Great series though, really good stuff. A lot of manga readers love this series in general. It does have 2 anime adaptations, which is really my only exposure to it. I have not read the series in manga format. So once I do finish collecting this, this will be my first, I guess, re-experience with the title once I read through it. But these books are beautiful. You obviously have a hardcover with amazing wraparound covers and extremely glossy pages. The art really jumps off the pages because of just how beautiful the material is really treated. And I do need, I believe, 4 more volumes to fully finish the series. So I'm one step closer, and I'm beyond excited to finally get it in and finish the series once I eventually do that. And once I do and read it, I'm of course going to let you guys know my thoughts. Next up, but not least, is Berserk in the Dark Horse Deluxe Editions, Volume 12. I did order this a while ago. It did take a decently long time to get to me, but nonetheless, it's here. I am currently reading it. This is a great volume so far, great contents. It's very light on the dialogue and heavy on the art. Kentaro really stretches his legs when it comes to the art and the storytelling through the art. So a little bit different, which is really exciting. I believe we have 2 more volumes. I think volume 14 will be the volume in the deluxe editions that will catch up to the point where Kentaro left us. So somewhat exciting, but also a little bit bittersweet. Exciting to catch up to the releases of Berserk, but bittersweet to eventually have to kind of say goodbye to Kentaro Miura once again through the actual material in Dark Horse format. So excited to have it in. Definitely excited to add it to the collection, the little Berserk shrine that you guys always see and always comment on, and super pumped to continue reading and continue my adventure with Guts. And that does wrap up manga, and here we are with our first indie title, which is Life Zero, a amazing art-wise story. The story itself feels very much like the Dead Rising video games, if you're a fan of that. A dark undertone with a lot of action and kind of silly concepts. Not something you want to take super serious. I have already read this, and it is actually featured in my top 5 most anticipated releases for December, which I'll leave a link up above. Super excited to get something off of that list into the collection, and I'm kind of torn as far as actually reviewing this book. I don't feel like there was a whole lot of hype behind it other than me. So if you would like a review on this hardcover or this title, just let me know down below and I would love to do that for you. Next up for the indies, we have The Savage Dragon in the Ultimate Collections Volume 1, yet another book that was featured in my top 5 most anticipated releases for December. Super excited that they are releasing Savage Dragon in a hardcover format, also pretty oversized format. I believe this is the exact kind of height as a omnibus. Very similar, if not exactly the same, to the Invincible Ultimate Collections. So if you have those, then you kind of know what to expect as far as this book's construction. Really good stuff. Another title that I really haven't experienced. I am currently reading it, so I will let you guys know my thoughts as always. I'm not sure how many volumes exactly we're going to be receiving, but we finally have some Savage Dragon in a nice oversized hardcover format, so whatever we get, I'm not going to complain about. This does have the dust jacket off, but it's the exact same image underneath, so for those that are worried about that type of thing, it's literally the same. Dust jacket is only there to really protect the book in this instance. No different cover or anything. But I was also very excited for this to be released because I haven't read any Savage Dragon really at all. Never piqued my interest until I was actually collecting collected formats. And I'm happy to be able to actually experience and let you guys know what I think. So let me know down below what you think of Savage Dragon and if you'd be interested in a review on this particular book. Next up, we're going to move to DC. We have the first Christmas present making an appearance on the list, which is Batman Earth 1, the hardcovers. I've said multiple times I am collecting this kind of in the wild because I always see them in the wild, and Batman is the last Earth 1 kind of series that I need to collect to finish all of my Earth 1s. So now I just need volume 2 and 3 to actually collect everything Earth 1. Really good stuff though. You do have Jeff Johns on this, Gary Frank, great artist, great writer, very kind of grounded and realistic take on DC superheroes. That's really what the Earth 1 kind of series is. Very elaborate takes on the characters and their origins and their villains, and it's something I'm a huge fan of. I feel like Superman and Batman were fairly well received, but then the hype just kind of died off because of the rise of the New 52. Really good stuff. I highly recommend, if you are new to comics, to check out the Earth 1 series for each of the heroes, because it's obviously a great jumping on point and really has nothing to do with the DC universe. It's all self-contained, and as long as you read the Earth 1 titles, you know everything that you need to know. It's kind of like the Ultimate Universe in a way, where everything between these covers is all you really need to know. Volume 2, the exact same. Volume 3, the exact same. They are kind of connected stories, but it's all self-contained with this character. You're not going to see the Justice League jumping in, or Superman and Batman taking down Brainiac, or whatever it may be. The characters stay in their books and fight their villains. And that's pretty much what Earth 1 is all about. But we'll go ahead and move to the next book, which is going to be Justice League by Scott Snyder, Deluxe Edition, Volume 3. I do have the first 2 deluxe editions. I needed the third to finish it. Very, very, very underrated run on the title of Justice League. I really don't hear anybody talk about it. Jorge Jimenez art, Scott Snyder writing. I'm sold. I don't know how more people don't read this. It's really, really good stuff. A lot of fun. So comic booky, so DC feeling. But really the main reason that I collected this third hardcover and have really the set is I'm going to be doing a little bit of a adventure, something I haven't done before, and that's going to be actually attempting to custom bind my own Omni, which is going to be this exact series. It is already oversized in omnibus style format, just not as many pages. So I'm going to take the 3 deluxe editions, combine them into an omnibus, kind of bring you guys along during the entire process, as well as make a dedicated video to the omnibus itself. But that's definitely something in the near future, not something I'm going to start here and now. but it's going to be a little bit exciting and very new to me. So if you guys have any tips or any advice at all, let me know down below, because it's going to be my first time really jumping into the custom custom binding kind of game. Next up, we have some Marvel omnibuses. First, starting with X-Men Grand Design. Very interesting book, guys. I don't know if a lot of you guys even wanted this omnibus, but it is really interesting. Pretty much you have a brief and quick kind of retelling of the X-Men's entire history between these two pages. They obviously change some things, not really much, but some things, and it's just a way to kind of experience the entire history of the characters and the team in a more digestible way. Super interesting. It also has a very fun kind of feeling to the pages, very kind of weathered and dated and kind of tarnished in a way, which is super fun. I'm always for like those weird gimmicky kind of style things, even though it's super 90s. But it also was about $18, I believe, on in-stock trades. So of course I acted on it. I would buy any omnibus probably for $18. So it's officially joined the library. I definitely recommend this for some newer readers if you want to catch up on the history and get a little bit of a brief retelling. But other than that, it's not necessarily required reading or a required omnibus in your collection, but it is a lot of fun. Next up is another book I got on sale on in-stock trades, which is X-Men, the Inferno prologue. I'm slowly collecting a lot of the X-Men titles. It's obviously a huge fan favorite in the community. I'm not necessarily interested in collecting the Uncanny X-Men books, but I definitely want a lot of the event titles. I am a huge fan of events. I know I'm probably in the minority there, but I love stories with high stakes and huge impacts going forward, and that's comic book events in a nutshell, essentially. This is the prologue omnibus to the Inferno omnibus, obviously. So you do get the lead up to Inferno. I have read the Inferno kind of tie-ins, not necessarily this specific X-Men omnibus, but a lot of the tie-ins through reading other titles. Essentially, Demons on Earth, Hell on Earth, your typical kind of story involving that, but mainly involving around the X-Men because of a specific character, to avoid spoilers. Really good stuff though. Super happy to get another X-Men book into the collection and keep on chugging along and getting them in while I can. With how many releases are already queued up for January, I'm sure I won't be getting it anytime soon, but it is on the radar. Next up, we have yet another of my top 5 most anticipated for the month of December, which is Black Panther by Christopher Priest, Volume 1. My favorite run on Black Panther. Very 90s run in general. This is definitely a take on the character that not everybody's a fan of because of the 90s style behind it, but I love that era in comics. I love huge panels, huge splash pages, art forward stories, far-fetched ideas, which this is very much so that. I mean, you have Black Panther taking on Mephisto in one of the first storylines. Very good stuff. I highly recommend this for any Black Panther fan. It's definitely a great jumping on point for the character. Any new run really is. And you will also notice a lot of things that were kind of pulled from this omnibus, as well as others that were eventually added into the Black Panther movies. So if you're a fan of the MCU, this is yet another kind of story or omnibus that features characters that do make appearances in those movies. But really good stuff. Super excited to have it in the collection. And I still need to get that Ta-Nehisi Coates omnibus to expand even more of the Black Panther collection in the library. Next up, we have Miles Morales Spider-Man Volume 1, the omnibus, the reprint, but not reprint that it is. This omnibus was obviously previously collected, but then a Volume 2 with a different name was put out. A lot of binding issues for the first volume. So I never tried to even hunt them down. I just hoped and prayed that there was going to be a reprint eventually, and of course, there was. This is Volume 1. Volume 2 was also released in the month of December. Wink, wink to the next haul potentially, but this is really good stuff. I am a huge fan of Miles Morales, even more so than Peter Parker. Don't hate me for that. It's my preference, and I really enjoy the character of Miles Morales. I always have. He is the Spider-Man of the Ultimate Universe after a large event that takes place. To avoid spoilers once again, really good stuff. I highly recommend anything Miles Morales. He's a great character, great Spider-Man, and really reading this makes you just feel young again. The teen angst, the high school drama, the girlfriends, the learning new things every day kind of concept that takes place is absolutely amazing, and I'm hooked to any book that just makes me feel like a kid again, which most comics do, but this one in particular does very well. Last but not least, the one and only super dramatic King in Black omnibus. I have never witnessed an omnibus get more hate in my life than this specific one. A lot of people not very happy with the mapping throughout this book because the Venom issues being put after the event rather during the event. A lot of people completely passing on this omnibus because of those reasons, but it is a really good event. It does take place during the Donny Cates Venom run, and the event itself, not the tie-ins, is collected in that Donny Cates Venom omnibus. So if you are only interested in the event, then potentially this could be something to pass on. A lot of the tie-ins are not amazing, but the Spider-Man centric character, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, all of those tie-ins are really fun, really good stuff, and the character of Null is great as well. I think if you want the full event and you also want to see how the event affects the universe and affects the characters in the universe, then I still would recommend to pick up this omnibus. But if you much more just want the main event and the story itself, then Donny Cates Venom might be a better choice for you. It does have a fairly hefty price, which I do agree with people is a little bit rough, especially when there's an omnibus that collects somewhat of the material that a lot of people are buying this for. But nonetheless, I'm super happy to have it in the collection. I do love events, and I do love tie-ins, good or bad, because I love to see how events affect the world that they take place in, and that's exactly what this is. You do have Null coming to Earth, the symbiote god, attempting to kill the world. Venom, very front and center, very Venom-centric story in general, but you do have the Avengers and Fantastic Four battling as well. Really good stuff. As far as you getting this omnibus or getting the Venom omnibus or getting both, I am going to make a dedicated video to that, kind of briefly reviewing both and talking about the positives and negatives of both. I do not think this omnibus deserves as much hate as it is receiving. Those Venom issues are a bummer. The tie-ins are not amazing, but what tie-ins really are. There's only a few select events that actually have amazing tie-ins, but it's an event omnibus, so you kind of know what you're expecting when you do buy it. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap up the haul. So thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. I really appreciate all the love and support, how many of you guys have been joining the community. I cannot even put into words how much I'm appreciating that. Of course, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the algorithm. It helps the channel grow, the channel that we are building together, the community that we're building together. A super fun place. And if you'd like to join that community, you can hit that subscribe button and join the Illuminati. But definitely let me know down below if any of these books you're interested in me doing review on, or an overview on, or even talking at all about. And a couple of these books that are something that I haven't read before, let me know down below what I should be expecting going in. I very much so value you guys' opinion, and I enjoy to kind of get a mindset going into a book, so I'm not expecting something that I shouldn't be. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had an amazing holidays and New Year's. And as always, stay nerdy.